Hey, what's up? How you doing, everyone? It's James Amera here at SwitchWatch. I hope you're doing well and that you've had a great week. Now, I'm back again with this week's eShop bargains. Yes, we scour the eShop so that you don't have to, uncovering the best of the UK, EU, and US bargains this week. So, without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at the best deals this week. Kicking things off with my pick of the week, I'm going for something a little bit different, combining tight 2D platforming, action RPG elements, and a really solid story. Indivisible is an interesting mashup. The game takes place in a 2D platforming world and battles that incorporate real-time and turn-based mechanics, and it just works. The visuals are beautifully done and hand-drawn. This is a game worth considering for sure, especially with a very healthy 75% off right now. Juan, Jordan, what about you guys? What are your picks this week?
Pretty much, James. My pick this week is Abzu. If you enjoyed games like Journey and Flower, then the same artist created Abzu, which is a wonderful and gorgeous looking underwater adventure. I praised how great this was to play on the Nintendo Switch in my review. If you want to see that, click the banner in the top right hand corner for more details. Suffice to say, there's lots of sea creatures to see, places to explore, and puzzles to solve. And while it's not the most challenging or doesn't have much action to speak of, it's an experience to while away a Sunday afternoon or any day after work and have a good time relaxing. My only complaint is that it was too short, which is the best compliment I can give it. With a great soundtrack, visuals, and calm gameplay, this is a game not to miss at its current price. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll certainly see you next week. But before I go, I'd like to mention that our other channel, Games Expanse, has done the very same video, 10 games that you cannot miss on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. So head on over there after this video. James will give you details at the end. I hope to see you over there. If not, I'll see you next week. Take care.
What's up, guys? Jordan here, as usual, my bargain of the week. This week I'm plumping for Spiritfarer in honor of the collector's edition going up for pre-order last week. Anyways, this is a much loved indie game, something very different than the norm, a narrative management style game as you help guide spirits into the afterlife. It is a stunningly beautiful game with a really nice soundtrack, very unique, and it will really hit you in the heart. It is fantastic, and digitally it is a really nice price too, 50% off down to less than £12 in the UK, $15 in the US, and $12.50 in euros. That is a fantastic price, much cheaper than the $200 collector's edition. Yeah.
Lovely picks there, guys, and if you want to check out that PS5 bargains video over at our sister channel Games Expanse that Juan was talking about, then you will find that up at the top right hand corner right now. Now, before Joseph Ferris brought us games under the EA badge like A Way Out and It Takes Two, he made Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, and like those games, it's a co-op adventure full of stealth, environmental puzzles, and a really engrossing story that's boss battles as well. The only criticism is it's quite short. If you play it in its original form, then it's a tougher experience where each stick controls one character, which makes for some interesting gameplay. With 50% off, if you missed this one and you've got a friend to play with, then I highly recommend it. If bullet hell shmups are your thing and you haven't tried Danmaku Unlimited 3, then this is a very simple explanation. It's one of the best there is on the Switch, and it currently has 50% off, so pick it up. Everything you expect is here. Tape mode, bright visuals with a hell of a lot of bullets and baddies on screen at all times, banging tunes, and there is also the nice addition of different difficulty levels, something which is not all that common and allows a wider audience to enjoy this game as well. For me personally, the Contra series brings back fabulous memories. I remember having an NTSC adapter on my SNES so I could play US releases as a kid, and one of my absolute favourites was Contra 3 The Alien Wars. Along the same lines as the Castlevania and arcade collections, this Contra collection from Konami features a bunch of 8 and 16-bit classics in this superb series that to this day displays some of the best run and gun gameplay ever. What makes the series stand out is the difficulty and excellent quality in every title of the series. There are no duffs here. At $3.99, this is such a great deal. Bundling both Part 1 and 2 of this classic arcade shmup into a package with the original gameplay and graphics brings that hard-as-nails gameplay to the Switch, where getting past a couple of bosses is hard enough, let alone completing the game. For those that want a more accessible outing, there's also Infinite Mode that lets you keep going. What's nice is that on completion it will tally up how many lives you lost, and there are separate leaderboards for this mode and normal mode as well. It's cool that you can flip between the original graphics as well as the remade polygon style ones in game with the hit of a button, and the soundtrack has been spruced as well. There's something here for everyone, and it currently has a really decent 50% off. There's also co-op on offer. Changing the pace of things, Carto is a charming puzzle adventure game with a tile mechanic reminiscent of the board game Carcassonne. A great game that. The story unfolds across a world map that you can arrange as you unlock new pieces in different ways. The story will take you around 5 to 7 hours, and the difficulty ramps nicely but never gets too tough. It's quite laid back, and I love the hand-drawn artwork and original soundtrack. It's a bit different. It's a nice concept, this one. Another legendary collection this week. Yes, it's the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, which combines the old school classic titles from the 8-bit and 16-bit era. There are 8 titles to be enjoyed, including the spin-off Kid Dracula that never made it to the West. Out of the 8 titles, you get to play some that have aged superbly and are still a blast to play, whilst others are less enjoyable. Overall though, this is a wonderful collection, and with 75% off, it's a trip down memory lane into one of the most influential game series ever produced. Journey to the Savage Planet is an ambitious first-person adventure with echoes of No Man's Sky. Everything you kill or break yields resources for you to upgrade your gear, such as your backpack and jump pack, meaning that nothing is meaningless in this game. It's a Metroidvania game as well, adding to that same sense of progression. As things get a bit hairy, you can wheel your friends in to help you, and the game has a brilliant Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy style humour. It's a really worthwhile game to explore for sure, and though the Switch port performance is of course lower than other consoles, it is still very enjoyable. Strikey Sisters blends block-breaking classic gameplay with fantasy role-playing, and the result is intriguing. The game is clearly made to be enjoyed with 2 players, one taking each sister's role, and doing so makes for a fun arcade gameplay. Single player, you can enjoy the game's levels and bosses, but breaking blocks and enemies solo is that bit tougher, and it's a bit more of a slog to be honest. The retro style and synth tunes work nicely, one worth checking out if you enjoy classics like Breakout. Rogue Aces is a brilliant 2D arcade shooter that looks wonderful and is tough yet fun to play. You take control of a fighter plane, and after getting to grips with the controls, you are off. Your objectives are generally to destroy the enemy and then safely land again, something that is tougher than it sounds. There are 100 levels to enjoy, and as you get further and upgrade your plane, you really start to feel awesome. The soundtrack is decent, but it's the thrilling controls and gameplay that will keep you coming back for more. This is a fantastic deal at such a low price. Last Day of June is a story-driven puzzle adventure game that aims to appeal to those who like a good story more than necessarily those who are after a gameplay adventure. Tackling the toughest of all events, that of losing a loved one, the game tells a story well without normal narration across some time-travelling Groundhog Day style events. It's a really heartwarming journey and is well priced now that it has 50% off. Next up, it's Runbow, and in this one the core mechanic is platforming, but there are many different elements on top of that. There's a splash of racing, a bit of brawling, and a major focus on competitive and cooperative play. Because of the sheer variety in gameplay, the colourful art style, and the incredible music, Runbow is a unique and fun experience. There is a lot of content on offer, and the colour mechanics tied in with the different sections in each level make this a real steal. Portal Knights is a 3D sandbox building RPG with randomised worlds to explore. You create your own world and can join your friends or others online, and the gameplay is more adventurous than most crafting style games like Minecraft, with some deeper RPG elements. It's a nice balance, but if you don't have friends to play with, you will sadly not likely find too many players these days, so be sure to pick this up with a buddy if you both like the look of this one. Feudal Alloy is a Metroidvania that is rough around the edges and odd. You play as a goldfish controlling a robotic body in a really weird landscape full of robots in a medieval setting. I reviewed this one when it came out and I really did enjoy it. There are nice RPG elements thrown in and the puzzles are excellent. It's not perfect, but with 90% off, it's a superb bargain. Monster Sanctuary is a monster collecting RPG with inspiration from Pokemon in a Metroidvania world where your monsters have different skills that let you progress through the world. It's a really accomplished game that I had the pleasure of discovering and enjoying on my Xbox with Game Pass. The 3v3 battle system complete with elemental tactics and skill system is a real treat. If you like a good old RPG game, then give this one a go for sure. Mutant Mudds Collection is 3 games in one. The first Mutant Mudds plus its sequel. These are basic looking but tough and neatly designed that make great use of the background and foreground within the levels. Now the last game is a puzzle game created specifically for this release, and now this whole package has 80% off across all 3 regions. Sagebrush is a story-driven mystery adventure. It's very much a narrative tale and is based on apocalyptic cults out there in the real world. Taking place after a tragic mass suicide event, this is definitely dark source material. A bunch of time has passed, I think 20-30 years. The graphics are lo-fi and the gameplay is mostly point and click. Along the way you uncover tape recordings and other remnants of what happened years back as you seek to figure out what happened. Gruesome indeed. And there you have it, folks. That's all we've got time for this week. A bunch of games that are on sale that I believe are worth your hard-earned cash. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below what takes your fancy. Now, we'll be back tomorrow with the physical roundup from Jordan. It's always a treat and looking forward to that one. And as we said earlier, we've got a PS5 video for you to enjoy as well. So be sure to check that out over at Games Expanse. I hope to see you again. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.